Hello. I'm Andy Costello. I'm the Northern Quarter Area Officer. Occasionally I'll come into colleges and give speeches basically on personal safety, street safety, and just kind of let you know some of the things that are going on around here for your benefit really when you're coming to and from college. We're going to run through what is our student awareness campaign. We go out to all the universities, colleges throughout Manchester city centre and beyond, just giving the same kind of talk, and then hopefully I'll just have a chat with you kind of a little later on about anything that you may have experienced or you may have seen around here, or any questions that you want to ask. Is that all right? I'll try not to be too dull, so if you can stay awake after lunch, that'd be awesome. Right, just bear with me. Is it just a click? We just click. Right, the first bit may not be entirely relevant to yourselves. Do you all kind of stay at home and travel in here? Or do any of you stay in student accommodation or anything like that? Do you all stay at home? Yeah? Do any of you travel in from kind of further away? Do any of you get like the train, bus, tram, stuff like that? Bus? Awesome. No, I like to hide. Let's get this out the road. Better? See me? Right. Can you see the screen, by the way? Everybody see that? Right, so these are the topics that we'll quickly go through. Like I say, I'm not trying to kill you with presentations. Being safe in your accommodation, personal safety, and antisocial behaviour. So, if all of you are from Manchester anyway, welcome to Manchester. We have the largest student population in Europe in the city centre. Okay? Over 100,000, as it says there. And Manchester's got the same problems as any other city, in Britain, across Europe, in the world. We have degrees of poverty, unemployment and crime. They all go hand in hand, unfortunately. I'll touch on some of the issues that we face in the Northern Quarter specifically, and let you know about some of the issues that we've got going on around the city centre. So it's just really things to be aware of, things to kind of, make you think, really, and keep your personal stuff to yourselves. Obviously, if you're staying at home, it's not quite as relevant as people who've come and stayed in student halls and things like that, where they're away from home. But this bit is something you can take back. Making sure your houses are locked, windows are locked, doors are locked whenever you leave them, even if you're just kind of nipping round. The majority of our burglaries that we deal with are opportunist. You may think that nipping out for 5 minutes somewhere, leaving the door open, isn't going to be a problem. But believe me, people will chance their arm, try the door. If they don't find anyone in, they can be in and out. Particularly if you leave laptops, iPads, anything like that in view, they'll be in and out with it and gone. Has anyone kind of had burglaries at their houses or anything like that? Just two of you? You're pretty lucky. But what did they take when?
The TV, they come in and put TV and they were smoking weed and they left they dropped it and it got the DNA and it was actually my next door neighbour's brother's friend that come in and took the toilet. Yeah, it can be. When I was a kid, my neighbour burgled our house. So it's generally people who are, who can be right next door. Huh? People that know
yeah, it's people who know you, who will see you going out, who know when you're on holiday and stuff like that. It does happen. So yeah, kind of ensuring people no one follows you through the main doors. I guess that's relevant for the college, really. Anybody that you think, hang on a minute. I mean, if you're here early and maybe there's nobody downstairs you know, and there's only yourself, and someone kind of follows you through, you think, you know, you're not here for a haircut, I can tell. Mention it, go and find a member of staff. Don't, you know, maybe not challenge them yourselves, but go and get a member of staff. If you see people kind of like loitering around outside, anything like that, or anyone you don't like the look of. I know there's been an incident kind of recently regarding somebody who was outside who maybe kind of asked something inappropriate of one of your colleagues. Everything needs reporting, you know, just make sure you speak to the staff who can then get in touch with us, and we can kind of, you know, come down and deal with them. Maybe nothing, but always better to be safe than sorry. Hide any valuables, laptops, TVs, stuff like that, and make sure you mark them. Report all crime and hate incidents. Hate incidents are something that I'm possibly going to come back and give another talk on specifically, because it's something that they want me to look at for your curriculum and things like that. Right, this is kind of more what I want to focus on with yourselves, is you being safe between when you leave home and you arrive here, and then from leaving here to getting back, okay? Because you're coming through Manchester city centre, it's busy, and it draws all sorts of people in. You know, in the same way that all the businesses and things, and we all come to the colleges in the city centre, well, people who, you know, basically don't want to work for a living and find it much easier to come and steal people's phones and whatnot are also attracted here. You know, let's not be naive and think we can kind of skip through town and nothing's ever going to happen to us. Majority of the times, it's not going to. But these are kind of some simple things that you can do to make sure that you're not the target and maybe somebody else is. Yeah? So it's about keeping hold of your own stuff and making sure that you're aware of what's going on around you. Right, pubs and clubs. One of our biggest issues, certainly in the Northern Quarter, is with gangs coming round and targeting pubs, clubs, cafes for mobile phones. We had an incident back end of last year in like November, December. We had a 2-week period where there was a gang that came in. They travelled in from Birmingham, 4 Romanian lads, rented out a property, and would just travel around the pubs and clubs and cafes, specifically around here, pretending to be Italian lads, looking for directions, and they had 35 phones away that we know of in the space of 2 weeks. So they come in, come up to you sat at a table and go, point that, put the map over your phone, and they'd be gone with it. And before you even knew what was happening, they'd disappeared. So certainly when you're in cafes, when you're in bars, things like that, just don't put your phone on the table. Don't leave it out on the table, because basically it's just saying, look, this is what I've got. Come and try and get it. You know, keep it on you, keep it in your pocket, keep it in your handbag, and keep your handbags with you. And don't hang them off the back of the chair, because they'll come and scoop them off the back of chairs as well. No, yeah, no, yeah. So don't place mobile phones on tables, and be aware of people who may be kind of getting a little bit too close. You know, if you're kind of stood in a bar and someone's kind of constantly bumping into you, or if you sat down at a table and someone's kind of walking up behind you and getting too close on you. It may be nothing, but it may be the fact that they're trying to get your stuff. You know, if you've got your bag under your chair, we've had a couple of instances where they'll come up to the back of your chair, hook the leg underneath your chair and pull your bag out, bend down, and they're out and gone before you even know it. The last person that happened to that I'm aware of, they were up in Rochdale and bought a 300 odd quid television within an hour of it having gone from one of the bars. So just being aware, keeping your wallet out of sight. Don't advertise the fact that you've just taken 200 quid out and you're out for the night and all this kind of stuff, because it does get noticed. They will be on it. And there are people in there who are there just specifically to take wallets out of back pockets. When you have, you know, if you have been out, if any of you do go and drink, don't hang round till everybody else has gone home. Stay with your friends, stay with groups of friends, and make sure that you're not the one left behind. As much as the Northern Quarter and Manchester city centre itself is really safe, given the amount of people that we've got in here, unfortunately, you know, sexual assaults, rapes, things like that do occur, and they can occur. It's usually they'll pick somebody up at the end of the night. You can walk down, you know, walking down dimly lit paths and back alleys and things like that. It's stay safe, be seen, and if you can, make sure you get a cab that comes to you, and ring one that actually sends the name of the driver and the registration number. They'll send it to your phone, so you know exactly what cab and things that you're looking for. Street robberies. Has anybody suffered from street robbery? Anyone been robbed? What did they take? Your phone. What did they do? Where was that?
I don't know. I was next to a police station.
Brilliant. Of course you were. Whereabouts? In where? Oh, right, okay. The one on the main road? Right. I don't work with them, so I can't vouch for them. Yeah. One of the big problems, and one of the big things, are phones. I mean, you know, everybody wants a phone because they can shift it on quickly. You know, the lads who do this just want to make 50 quid for the night. You know, and they know where to get rid of it. They know who deals in them. And they'll pick on the person who is on their own, who's walking around just talking on the phone, not caring the world, have no clue what's going on around them, and they can be on you in like seconds. Before you know it, you're on the floor, they've got your phone, give you a kick, and they're off, and you won't even see them coming. I mean, what happened to you? If you don't want to talk about it.
I was walking up the dark road, and came behind me to put me on the floor, took my phone out behind me before I got up.
And how long did that last? Did you hear them coming? Did you have any clue as to what was going on? All right. I'll take you with me next time I do one of these. All right, you just tell them what happened to you. So yeah, I mean, you know, we hear that so many times. It's ridiculous. It just happens all the time. I mean, a lot of the time, they won't even bother touching you. They'll just grab your phone out there and gone, bike. And you've got no clue. Then you've got no way of getting in touch with anyone. Can't tell anyone what's gone on. You know. So it's just a case of being aware of what's going on. You know, if you are on your own, I know sometimes you just want to talk to someone as you're getting home and you're making your arrangements and stuff like that. But you know, wait till you go down to the train. You know, till you're on the train or till you're on the bus or you know, till you're on your way home. Just kind of resist the urge to do it when you're coming from the train station, tram stop, bus stop, and vice versa. Stay with groups. Then invariably nobody targets groups of people. They'll only ever try and pick out one, you know, people who are on their own. Because at the end of the day, the cowards, they just want your phone and, you know, they don't want to fight. Stay out of parks, dimly lit streets, anything like that. Resist the urge to take a shortcut across a park at the end of a night. You know, if it means adding 5 minutes onto your walk home, stay on the roads as opposed to taking that cut through a park where, you know, you can't see anything. Nobody's there to help you. I don't want to scare, but, you know, this happens very infrequently, but we have to mention it. Cash points. We have currently got a group in the city centre who we're trying to get hold of at the moment, who are putting the scanning machines on cash points, which basically will just read your card details. So what?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God, indeed. What they do is they bolt it on. It's a magnetic cover over the card reader. So it'll look slightly out of place because it's like big and bulky, whereas the normal card slots are kind of little thin things and maybe grey and stick out like so much. These will come out quite a lot and it'll look slightly out of place. But you'll put your card through them. It'll scan through their machine first and then go into the cash point and then it'll release back. So without you knowing about it, they'll know what it is. They'll have set up somewhere or have somebody stood by the cash point who will register your number as you put it in. They'll clock it down, make a note of it, send it off to someone, and then they've got your card details and your number. They'll clone your card and take your money. We also have groups, particularly along Oxford Road. Does anybody kind of go out along Oxford Road or anything like that, or use anything down that way? There's a couple of cash machines down there, and there's groups that specifically target people using those cash machines at like 2, 3 in the morning. They'll stand behind them, let you get your cash out, and then turn you over. Either take your card from your back pocket, again knowing your number, or they'll wait till you get around the corner and basically rob you. So that is something we're looking at. We have got teams kind of out and about down there. Obviously, I'm not telling you this and then we're completely ignoring it, but I just want to let you know that these things do happen. So cash cards, use machines inside the banks if you can. Obviously at night, probably can't do that. Use the ATMs on a busy street. Even so, just be aware of who's around you, what's going on. Cover the keyboard, because really without your PIN, even if they've cloned your card details, it's pretty useless to them. They need your PIN. So just make sure you kind of keep covering up. Do carry attack alarms. Has anybody got like a little alarm?
I did.
You did have one?
Sister had one, she put it in the bag.
Well, they work. They work because all attack alarms are for basically is to draw attention to you. If something's going on, you want to make as much noise and get as much attention on you as possible. And that's basically what they're doing. There's no better thing for it because they're hideous. They used to come in and kind of let one go and it's deafening. But I'll speak to Gail and the people here, and we'll maybe be able to kind of sort something out in terms of getting the little ones for anybody who wants one, because they're just worth having in your handbag. They're just worth having to hand. Yeah, and don't carry weapons. Believe it or not, I've had a few instances of people who carry knives in their bags and koshes in their bags, and you know it's. I don't want to know. That would be very effective, but then you know you'd be in quite a lot of trouble after it. God, yeah. Try not to torch people, please. That'd set a whole different set of problems up for me. But you've not used it, have you? No.
I'm just saying that.
It's not something you need to tell me here. No. Right, okay. But yeah, don't get yourself in trouble by carrying like knives or blowtorches or anything else, because you know it'll end up coming and biting you, basically. And no, this stuff isn't legal to carry around. So no matter what your mate says who's bought it from Romania off the internet says, you can't. It's a firearm. That. Right, okay. And just move your bag away from it, please. Right. Travelling in Manchester. Do you all get public transport in? Yeah. Right. Okay. Buses, tram. Where does anybody come from? Like Liverpool, or how far does anyone come from? Are you all kind of Greater Manchester, or yeah? Anyone any further? Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So buses. It's just some basic kind of information about travelling on buses at night to and from here. I take it most of you'd go down to Piccadilly or Shude Hill, would you have to here, and get your buses from there? Right. I think you'll probably see that we're doing quite a lot around, and we've now got a pod in Piccadilly Gardens. Yeah? We're doing quite a lot of work around the dealers who are knocking out weed and stuff in there. So hopefully you should see a little difference in that. But this is just a couple of tips to keep yourself safe on a bus. If travelling alone, sit as near to the driver as possible. Only because he's there to help you if anything happens. You can get some undesirables on there who may make a beeline for a lone female and all this kind of stuff. Certainly in the evening, certainly kind of like late at night, if anybody gets night buses anywhere and stuff like that, try and stay near the front, because invariably if you sat at the back, the loon who's had 15 pints and smoked God knows what will come and sit down next to you. Don't fall asleep. Has anybody had anything taken on a bus? Bag? Phones? Anything like that? Fall asleep on a bus. If you've had too much, then it leaves yourself open to having your bag taken. You wouldn't know anything about it, don't know what stop they've got off. So just keep everything about you. Taxis. Does everybody pre-order the taxis now? Yeah? Because there's so many apps now that you can just, it's dead simple.
It says like all the taxi details on
Yeah.
all the drivers.
And that's what I was talking about before. A couple of years ago, we used to have real problems around the northern quarter. We had someone trawling round in their own car who had plates made up for a well-known taxi firm, magnetic plates, and would just stick them on his car and trawl round waiting for the right person to flag him down. There was 6 or 7 sexual assaults that he then did, because he'd wait for them to flag him down, you're on your own, and he took girls out the city centre to the industrial estates and assaulted them. And, these are girls who've just had a night out, want to get home, but unfortunately were in the wrong place, wrong time, hailed the wrong taxi. So now with these apps and with your phones and stuff like that, always make sure, certainly if you're on your own, that you order the cab while you're in the bar or the club, and that's the cab that you get in, because they will send you the driver details, they will send you the thingy details, and you've always got something to refer back to. They know then who's picked who up, from where, what time, and where they're taking you. Yeah? Because everything then is monitored by sat-nav, all sorts. Thankfully, we've not had an incident of that for quite a while. But it's just something to be aware of, that this does happen, and it could happen, but, don't let it happen to you. Black cabs tend to be a lot better. We've not had an incident with the actual black cabs, with the Hackney carriages. You know, you know what? I live out in Astley, right, and I find it cheaper to get a black cab from city centre than I do to actually get a private hire. I don't, obviously that's not true for everything, but it's, get Sol tax. cheap as chips. So, yeah, don't accept lifts off cruising cabs or touts. You know, if someone pulls over going, do you need a lift anywhere or anything like that, please, please, please do not be tempted to get in them. Just be, you know, just be aware and be safe. Road safety. Don't walk out in the road when a car's coming. I don't really know what they mean by that, but I can see you all here. So, does anybody actually cycle in? No. Buy a lock. That's all I can say on that one. Drugs. Drugs are bad. Okay? Drugs are bad. You know, let's not be naive. You probably know people who do kind of one drug or the other. And they all affect people in different ways. Okay? At the moment, not me personally, I don't have a problem with legal highs. Legal highs at the moment, is everybody aware of what legal highs are? Mm-hmm. Yeah? You know, we can talk about it because they are legal. Okay? What they are, though, as well as being legal, are ridiculously toxic. I deal with a load of the local crackheads who will go and get...
Just dropped it.
Hey?
You just dropped it like...
Okay. Safe learning environment. Everyone all right? Everybody? Yeah. Drug users. Some of my local undesirable drug users actually now go and get the legal highs because they get more of a hit off that than they do off anything else. The amount of people I've picked up off the street who cannot utter a sensible word, have no idea where they are, have no idea what day it is, and who have had to call ambulances who've had to be whisked away because the ambulance now, especially if you mix these things with alcohol, will deal with you as a medical emergency. Because what it does is raise your body core temperature. And all you want to do is take off your clothes because you're too hot. And you've no idea what's going on. And it's seeing people on that is worse than I've ever seen people on heroin, on crack, on anything else. Really, I mean, I'm not just saying this to scare you. As much as everyone says, oh, you know, come on, let's do it. Oh, we can go up to whatever shop and go and get Eclipse or Cyclone or whatever it is. You know, hand on heart, this is like the worst thing I've seen. Like, really. They're an absolute nightmare. And if you saw some of the chemicals that went into this, I did a study with the Home Office where I went out and got samples from all the shops that sold them. We sent them off, got them analysed, and the chemicals they use in drain cleaners, floor cleaners, like bleaches. Just honestly, it's just hideous. But they really are an issue, and I wouldn't want anybody else, and certainly none of you lot, to end up with me having to pick you up off the street, not knowing what your name is, where you are, and throw you in the back of an ambulance. I mean, we've had 3 people die in the last 5-6 months from mixing that and alcohol. There's a lad that I spent 40 minutes giving CPR to on Lever Street, corner of Lever Street and Dale Street, who ended up dying, and he'd had some of these, some of the legal highs, and that's a horrible thing to have to do. It's a horrible thing to have to do. So, you know. It is literally that. There's nothing, because none of these things are for human consumption, and it says it on the packet. The government can't test them on humans to see what the end result is. So therefore, you can't outlaw something that you can't get scientific data back from. And because it's not to be sold to under 18s, and it says it on the packet, then basically it's down to yourselves what you're putting in your body. And that's the way they get around it. And they also call it like plant food and all this kind of stuff. But it's not. And it's, yeah, they're just horrible. So, and I know they're freely available within the northern quarter. There's certain shops, like 2 minutes from here, where you can buy them from. All I would say is don't, because they're ridiculous. Does anybody know anybody who does have these? Like I say, it's yeah, I mean, all I can say is it's, have you seen, obviously, if you've seen people on them and stuff like that?
Yeah, where my mum lives on Barry Island, that food is like a big book there.
Yeah.
And a lot of the lads that I went to school with when I lived there are like really bad at it now, and I know one of them died from it as well, and my age died last year.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, it really is. Until you see somebody on it, it's just a terrible, terrible thing. And they have, you know, they're called so many things and they come in so many guises. But, you know, have your head screwed on. You've obviously got them screwed on enough to kind of come to college and want to be something. Don't screw it up doing any of that. Which brings me on to cannabis in a roundabout way. Okay, cannabis is still illegal. It's a Class B drug. We will still give you a street caution if you've got no previous history from it, but anything over and above that, we will lock you up and take you in. Resist the temptation if you know somebody who can get hold of a load of pills or whatever. Don't get them, because at the end of the day, if something happens to them and you're the person who's given it to them, then you'll get done for supplying drugs. And that is a whole lot worse than having the drugs yourself and us dealing with you. But none of the drugs that we deal with cause as much problems as drink does. Alcohol, I spend probably half my time dealing with people who are either drinking on the street during the day or tipping out of bars and having fights on the street and God knows what. Some people just completely lose it. Drink can have a ridiculously personality changing effect on you. You can turn into someone that you just don't know, don't like, and your friends don't know and don't like, when you drink to excess.
Depends what you drink as well.
Sorry, hi.
Like with certain people, like if they drink something they don't normally drink or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, people. The thing is, people react to drink in different ways and different drinks, and you know, all I can say is, I'm sure you'll all find out your own particular thing that doesn't agree with you. But all I would say is, you know, it's the drinking to excess. It's that kind of culture of going out and getting, you know, absolutely leathered within a 4-hour time frame and sticking as much down your neck as you possibly can. So much so that you can't speak, can't stand up, throw up everywhere. Nice. So, for those that, how old are you all, by the way? 17, 18. All right, okay. So yeah, I'm not. Yeah, okay. So we all go out drinking. Then let's not beat around the bush. Just be responsible. Just pace yourselves when you are going out. just know what you're drinking, you know who's kind of getting it for you, and try not to get into a state where, you know, you wake up the next day going, oh God, and you've lost like 5-6 hours of your life, and all your mates are sending you things going, do you know what you did? So, you know, just kind of pace yourselves and try not to end up in fights outside the locks or in the print works where we have to come and deal with you, stick you in the back of the van and let you sleep it off in the cells. So yeah, you're here to get a career, and presuming all of you want to leave here and go on and get, you know, a career in kind of hairdressing and whatnot, don't ruin it by getting yourself a record for, you know, going out getting smashed and doing something stupid. And yeah, antisocial behaviour, very basic one. You know, go and cause a ruckus in the street or whatever, we can come along and give you £80 fixed penalty notice, or we can, you know, lock you up, prevent breach of the peace, or what have you. There's numerous ways that we can deal with people who cause antisocial behaviour, but you're not only ruining it for yourselves, it's, you know, all the rest of your mates, everybody else who's having a good night, and your mum and dad wouldn't be too happy either, I'm fairly certain. And that is pretty much it. This is a website that we use called Immobilise. If you put anything that's got a serial number, anything like that, you can register on here. If it does get nicked and it turns up, we match it against anything registered on here, and it brings your name and address, contact number, and we can give it you back. So it's worth spending a few minutes just filling in that. Put anything of value on it, and we can hand it back to you. False crime reports. Don't claim a crime's happened that hasn't, I think is basically the thing that's trying to say. And don't claim something's happened, I think basically to hit deadlines, you know. I've not been able to hand it in because, I don't know, my dog ate it and then my dog got nicked and then what have you. And that is pretty much it. Think safe, drink safe, and stay safe, more importantly. All I would say, I'm pretty much done now, you'll be glad to hear. The Northern Quarter, as it is pretty much like the safest place in Manchester to be, without a shadow of a doubt. There's very little that goes on here in terms of the, you know, what you would class as like a major offence. Burglaries, rape, the big fights and things like that. What you do just need to be aware of are pickpockets, street drinkers who are around, and then you'll get the odd crackpot walking up and down. So just cross over the road, avoid them at all costs, and if somebody does say anything to you, then give us a call out, let them know, and we'll come down and deal with them. And that is pretty much me. Thank you. Thanks. Try not to burn me.
Has anybody got any questions?
Any questions at all?
No, is everyone going to register on that website? Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool, okay, well done.